Hey there, Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. At this channel, we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. It's after midnight, so you'll have to excuse some of the slap happy, but I was trying to get into your energy, and I was like, God, that is always so nice. It is so clear. And then I started laughing because I thought, well, no wonder my Aquarius friends don't understand me when I'm like, I don't know how you can be so clear-headed all the time about everything. Like, they're like, it's so obvious. And I'm like over here stuck in my emotional stew with all my water sign stuff. So it's pretty funny. But anyways, nice for you. It's very nice for you. So it felt clear-headed. I have no idea what you're thinking about, but it is very clear and calm. It feels calm. Not even stressy or irritated, just clear and calm. Nice. Feels like a weather report, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. I want to thank you for your likes, your shares, your comments. I really appreciate them. You're helping me grow my channel. And I was able to start a business because of the growth on this channel. So it's called The Tribe Empowers, and that is listed in below. And I'm waiting on Spirit here. So what would you like to chat about while we're waiting on Spirit? Oh, here we go. Those aren't great cards. I gotta tell you. When I'm waiting that long, I'm hoping for something better than that. Okay. All right, let's get started. I'm still going to ask you to give me a thumbs up. Please don't give me a thumbs down because you don't like the message. Okay, so here's what came out. You might be clear-headed, but are you getting any sleep? Like, this is a lot of worries. Like, you feel like you're under attack. And there seems to be some confusion with that, which doesn't make any sense considering how clear-headed you felt. But in the moonlight, the full moon is coming up, and maybe things will become clear then. And maybe that's why that energy is like that. Gosh, my head is so clear. I like it. Because on Sunday, we also you're dealing with fears. With this moon sitting over here in Leo in your 7th house of, intimate partnerships. So maybe you do feel like you've been stabbed in the back. Okay, so the thing about the full moon is that the shadows, you can't actually see everything, but you see so much more than you saw like when the new moon was new, right? So to get some clarifiers on that, I wanted to know, well, which direction were things going in? And this was nice because you got this beautiful celebration, 9 of Cups card, emotional satisfaction. But it seems almost like such a big party, and maybe so. Oh, maybe you're planning a party and you feel like there's like all these things to do, and people aren't really helping you pull it together, but then maybe you do, right? It could be something like that. Because we also have this lovely Queen of Wands card, and she is orchestrating her life. I need this done over here. That's going to happen over there. And it's the very much in control of your own life, which is so different from the 10 of Swords, where you look like you're under attack and everybody's coming after you and you don't have any control. You're just done. And so maybe what happened is that you have been feeling under attack, and this full moon brings an end to it, and then you start orchestrating your life and you move forward towards something much happier. Well, let's get into the cards and see what else we get. But that's kind of what that looks like. Like, that's future forward is the bottom row, and the top one feels like past dish current. Like, when you're at the 10 of Swords, it's been going on a while. That's not out of nowhere. That's repetitive, same kind of stuff over and over. So let's just see here. Oh, well, this is nice. Okay, so that community group that you see down there, you have support. You have support. And so even the Queen of Wands, even though she's large and in charge and she's orchestrating it, it's a big orchestra, so they're supporting her. The party definitely looks like a lot of people loving and supporting. And so maybe you feel like you're not supportive. Maybe you feel all alone, but you actually have support. And when you release some of these fears, maybe you recognize it. And so maybe the shadows in the moonlight have kind of hidden from you the support. Maybe you didn't necessarily see it there, but it's still there. On Monday, the moon moves into Virgo, which is in your 8th house of transformation, and that's about boundaries and the willpower to set them and also to know when to let people in. So the boundaries can work both ways. They can keep you safe or they can keep you overprotected and away from people. Like there could be too much of a good thing. And maybe you have your boundaries up because you've been feeling under attack like this. But if you're really supportive and there's people around you like this, maybe it's time to think about which ones you're going to let down. Let a few people in. Maybe that's a little bit too much boundaries. A little too much fencing. Like this one too. Okay, calm, mental chatter, clear confusion, take steps to gain a new perspective on life, increase emotional balance. You have blue tiger's eye. Here is an affirmation that you can use. I'm going to read it as slowly as possible, twice, so that in case you want to write it down. It's easy for me to see beyond the obvious. I am focused on my own sacred path. Ooh. It's easy for me to see beyond the obvious. When you're walking in the moonlight, not everything is so, you can't see into the shadows. And so they're telling you, no, you can. This is your affirmation, because maybe there are shadows and you can't clearly see everything. But when you start using the positive affirmations, your words can create the atmosphere in which you live. So it is easy for me to see beyond the obvious. I am focused on my own sacred path. And this is definitely being focused on what you want to create. And so you get to pick your attitude. You can't always pick your circumstances, but you can pick your attitude. And so your attitude is, I can see what I need to see. I am focused on my path, right? And then the other one you have is the carnelian, and it's creativity. Ooh, this is so totally this card. Creativity flows through me in a myriad of ways. I courageously bring my ideas into actuality. Creativity flows through me in a myriad of ways. I courageously bring my ideas into actuality. And so maybe you're in the middle of trying to do something new, to create a new project, to head something off in a new direction. And it just feels like everywhere you turn, there's another obstacle. And so the obstacles are like swords stabbing at you, like, oh, that hurt. Man, I thought it was, I can't. And so maybe either that, or you're trying to create something after having undergone a lot of pain from a situation like that. And this is you trying to create that. And I see no reason why you cannot do it. If the only thing you have to do is to change your focus and change your attitude so that you can see into the shadows easily what's going on. Shine a little light on it. And like this one's midnight and the moon's up, but this is sunrise. It's almost like she's playing the sunrise into being. And then here we have fully lit day. And so I just feel like it's an attitude adjustment, which honestly is so much better than some other things. Like if it's simply a matter of you choosing to change your attitude, to change your focus, to change the way you're looking at something, then it's completely within your control. And that Queen of Wands is saying, I am the I am the orchestrator of my own destiny. And she is using all of her attitude to orchestrate it. And so I do feel like this is kind of like just an attitude adjustment thing. And on Wednesday, when Mercury finally freaking gets out of that shadow, no, it's out of the, yeah, it gets out of the shadow and it moves into Aries, there's a lot of energy that comes with that. A lot of potential, right? And so focus on what you want to create in the transformation. Keep your head above the emotional waters, which, you know, that this card pretty much looks like Aquarius to me. Like they're aware of emotions, but they're able to focus around them and think their way through problems. And I believe that will be you. And then take some action. Take some action. Orchestrate your life. Utilize the power of this full moon in Libra sandwich. It's been 4 weeks of this long, slow transition, letting something go that was not serving us at all. And this full moon now coming back around to help you complete this process with this power at 29 degrees and 7 minutes of Libra. It happens at 7:12 a.m. on Friday. An hour and a half later, the moon already moves into Scorpio. So, I mean, you're right at the end of the cycle. There's so much power there. We also have Venus moving into Aries. That's a little feisty kind of emotional energy. Especially because Mars is sitting over there and, well, Mars is in Gemini. And Gemini, Aaron, you know what? Maybe it's a good conversation. That'll be interesting. Maybe it'll be like sparks flying, but in a good way. In Taurus, the sun moves into Taurus on Saturday. This is about finding peace. This is about finding peace. I think this is about you taking the action to finally orchestrate your life so that you can eliminate this. I think that's very important. And I think it's a choice and it's a decision and it's time to make a move. And you are supported. There are people around you supporting you. There are spirits supporting you. It's a fragile piece though, right? It's an egg. So you need to trust. This is actually the egg moon, which is pretty funny. It's also called the duck moon or the pink moon, but it's the egg moon. It's the trust that now is the time to make some changes that will produce, right? So like the farmers are out in about 2 weeks, they're going to be starting to plant the seeds for the summer. And they have to trust that the time and the money and the effort they're putting into planting their crops is going to yield prosperity for them. But if they don't take the action, if they don't get out there and they don't plant the seeds, then they can trust that nothing's going to happen, right? They aren't any further ahead then for sure. So there's this level of trust that comes from it. And there's also the need for self-reflection. Like at the end of the year, at harvest time, right? And everything's put away. And then they sit for a few minutes or days. And they go through the books. Where did I make money? Where did I lose money? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? And the moon is asking you to do the same thing. Look at the situation. What did you do right? And what did you do wrong? Did you stay there unnecessarily long that you got all the way to the 10 of Swords? Maybe you should have left way back at the 7 of Swords. Then you got stuck in that 8 of Swords and you were there for freaking ever. And the 9 of Swords, there was no sleeping. And now finally the 10 of Swords, it's too much and you're done. So maybe you should have left earlier. Maybe you should have done something differently. Maybe you couldn't. But self-reflection is important, that you take a time to break down the situation and look at it. What was right? What was wrong? What can I do better next time? Because integrating the lessons is so important. And this Mercury in retrograde in Pisces with all that emotional energy has really dragged a lot of people through some stuff. But it's healthy. if you do it right. It's healthy to let it get stirred up. And as the water settles out and it starts to recede, you take a look and say, well, what were the lessons? What was I supposed to learn? What did I learn? How can I implement this? How can I use this to make things better next time? That's what we're here to do. We're here to learn lessons, to grow, to become better people, to become better souls. It's all soul work. Where is it? You have Battle of the Blues. Take steps toward positive change. You need to orchestrate your own happiness. It's a choice. Attitude is always a choice. It does not matter where you are. You know, you'll hear those stories about, oh my gosh, you just heard this guy today on the radio. He was incarcerated and not guilty. He was finally exonerated. And he was there like 3 or 4 decades. I missed the exact number. But I've heard the story before. He was there for decades. He was there so long that when they said to him, well, like, what did you notice that was so different? Because all this technology has happened and everything since then, right? Since he was incarcerated. And he said, well, it's just amazing. I'm going to the grocery store, and there's a whole aisle of choices for cereal. We had 2. That's a long time to be put away. But he sounded so positive and upbeat. And he's like, yeah, well, you know, and I learned to do this, and I learned to do that. And he actually doesn't even have, like, this whole negative attitude about where he was. And they talked about what a model citizen and an inspiration he was when he was in jail. And he wasn't even guilty. You can't always choose your circumstances, but you get to pick your attitude. So you're battling the blues right now. I think you need to get moving. Like, go for a walk. Do something exercise-wise, because that endorphins will help. The first card that came out, go for a swim. The first card that came out was Aqua, experience peace and calm. And we have the peace and calm here. And this looks anything but peaceful and calm, right? And so I courageously bring my ideas into actuality. I courageously choose to be happy. I choose to be peaceful. You have a lot of support. It's there. You might not see it, but it's there. I look like I'm winking at you, but my eye all of a sudden got crazy. All right, so I'm going to try to do the full moon readings, but I'm having oral surgery, so I'm not certain that I'll be able to do that, but I'll be definitely back next week. But you can do your full moon. Write down what it is you need to release. Write down what you're grateful for, and then turn it over to Spirit. We'll see you back here next week. God, this is a long one, Aquarius, but you can do this. You can choose to be happy. All right?